Ladies and gentlemen, the Nairobi gubernatorial seat is one of the most important seats of the sitting president. When Kidero was first elected in Nairobi, he did not work closely with Uhuru Kenyatta. You all remember how Mike Mbuvi Sonko used to stage very serious criticism against the governor by that time. You remember Rachel Shebesh, she was calling herself by that time Manzo Nairobi. Ladies and gentlemen, later on, Mike Mbuvi Sonko took over. And in fact, it was overwhelmingly voted in. But you know that he got impeached later on when he could not work with the president closely. Ladies and gentlemen, Uhuru Kenyatta eventually bestowed Anne Kananu, who became in charge of Nairobi. Later on, we had actually even Mbadi coming on board. Therefore, the Nairobi gubernatorial seat is one of the most crucial seats for the sitting president. And there are many reasons for that. Number one, it's because of the revenue that is collected there. We all know our politicians in the country, they want money. So if there's money in Nairobi, they'll always want it by their side. Mike Mbuvi Sonko one time came out and said he was being brought a lot of money in each and every day, 70 million or something. That was huge, which means there are a lot of loopholes within the Nairobi city. So many services being offered, so much money being collected. So every politician, especially the sitting president, wants that seat by their side. Apart from that, the politicians also have a lot of deals within Nairobi. So they want things to be managed by the people they trust. So that is why the Nairobi gubernatorial seat is very important. Though if there's one of the greatest achievements that President William Ruto made in 2022 is for him to comfortably get that seat by his side, the Nairobi gubernatorial seat. And if there's one thing that happened that made me understand that William Ruto is going to work with Raila Amolo Odinga, it's the association of Sakaja and Raila Amolo Odinga. They knew very well that with the MCA's majority coming from the Azimio side, going against Raila Amolo Odinga, that calls for an impeachment. So the moment Sakaja started working with the ODM MCAs, I knew very well this is where William Ruto is heading to. Because they want to protect the Nairobi seat. And indeed, it bore fruits because until today, Raila Amolo Odinga, the MCAs of Nairobi, are praising Sakaja. They are supporting him, they are protecting him to ensure that he has delivered. Either to them or to the people of Kenya. I don't know what you think. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Nairobi seat is always protected by the sitting president so long as the governor works with him. Now, as we speak today, we all know that immediately Sakaja won the seat. The race for 2027 Nairobi gubernatorial seat started. And during that time, already considering the history of Tim Wanyonyi, he was one of the people who were positioned to inherit Sakaja. Babu Wino also positioned himself by starting to seriously criticize Johnson Sakaja. Sakaja himself, as the incumbent in 2027, also started now aligning himself towards the elections by ensuring he has the ODM MPs, MCAs, and Baba himself by his side. So those are some of the things that happened just immediately after the 2022 general elections. Then something happened in between. Gachagua did not agree with Johnson Sakaja. And later on, in that kind of a disagreement, Gachagua got impeached. So the enmity between Sakaja and Gachagua intensified. And then, immediately, Gachagua had gotten impeached. He embarked on the Nairobi 2027 game plan. And he came out categorically by saying that he's going to merge the Mount Kenya people and the Kamba Nation to produce a gubernatorial aspirant that is going to take out Sakaja in 2027. That is the game plan that started by Gachagua. Ladies and gentlemen, what we have to agree here today is that the entry of Gachagua in the game plan for 2027 created some tension within the Kenya Kwanza and the ODM team. From where I stand, I feel strongly that Raila Amolo Odinga wanted Sakaja to win the Nairobi gubernatorial seat, not Igathe. And I'm saying this considering the intensity Raila Amolo Odinga put in the campaigns in Nairobi for Igathe. They were very light. And the time that it took for the Nairobi gubernatorial seat person, that is Sakaja, and Raila Amolo Odinga to work together, especially in the midst of floods where Kenyans were crying. That's a clear sign that these people were working together even before the 2022 general elections. Ladies and gentlemen, so Gachagwa's entry complicated things for Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto, in that this Nairobi seat might be taken away from them. Why did the entry of Gachagua create some fear within the Kenya Kwanza and ODM team? First, it's because of the numbers they bring on board. The Kikuyu Nation is the largest representation in Nairobi. And now the Kambas, there are also many numbers. That's why Kidero won successfully with the Kamba region. Kidero combined the Luo, some Kisses, and of course, now with the Kamba to become a governor in Nairobi. So the Kamba Nation is quite huge. When they come together with the Kikuyu Nation, they have huge numbers in Nairobi. So they got scared. Another thing that also made them scared is the determination by Mount Kenya to have this seat by their side. They have said that they have lost it severally, and every time they get a leader, disappoints them. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is also a factor that is creating fear within the Kenya Kwanza and the ODM pact. Also, Sakaja is very unpopular as we speak today. People have taken him to be selfish and careless of the common man's interests. And as a result, people want him out. So the conversation is who is coming to the Nairobi gubernatorial seat. Already as we speak, Babu Owino has created a threat by becoming among the most popular within the Nairobi county. I was there recently and I questioned people, one or two people, and I realized Babu Owino is very popular there. So ladies and gentlemen, Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga, as a result of Gachagwa's entry, they started making moves. And these moves were all geared towards ensuring that at least they have maintained the Nairobi seat. They have retained it. What is the first move that they made? Number one is to send Tim Wanyonyi to Bungoma.
When I form the next government of Bungoma, I'll form a government of all inclusive. Vijana mtakuwa ndani. Wamama wangu mtakuwa ndani. Watu wanaishi na ulemavu watakuwa ndani. Jamii zote za Bungoma, we are not going to marginalize anybody. We shall make sure we accommodate every interest in Bungoma.
Tim Wanyonyi was supposed to be the gubernatorial aspirant in 2022. But Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta asked him to step down. He got disappointed. But recently, just after the Sakaja actually started failing, Tim Wanyonyi came out and said he'll be on the race. He'll be in the race in 2027 for the gubernatorial seat in Nairobi. Now, he maintained his course. Then Babu Owino as well also maintained. To protect the Luya votes to Gachagwa's side, to Sakaja's side, they had to get rid of Tim Wanyonyi and transfer him to Bungoma County. And as we speak today, Tim Wanyonyi is focused for the Bungoma gubernatorial seat. That was basically to lock the Luya votes behind Johnson Sakaja. That's number one. Number two, these people also did one simple thing. They approached Babu Owino to step down. And honestly, Babu Owino ignored or maybe refused to step down from the Nairobi gubernatorial race. A clear indication that things are getting complicated because Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto are banking on the Luo votes and the Luya to give Sakaja a strong base first before they even go to the deputy governor seat. But now the existence of Babu Owino in the race weakens Sakaja because Babu Owino will take all the Luo votes. That one I assure you. Now it became complicated for Raila Amolo Odinga. And they made another move. The entry of Evans Kidero to the Nairobi gubernatorial race. Already there are signs that these people are now working up. They're up to something. And it's nothing other than just the Nairobi gubernatorial race. How is it going to work for them? If Kidero today decides to become the Nairobi to get into the Nairobi race, he will divide the Luo votes immensely, so that Babu Wino does not get the votes as well. After doing that, there will be other moves they will make, but it's first to ensure that the Luo votes are not taken by Babu Wino, because if Babu Wino gets more support from other tribes, he becomes the governor of Nairobi very early in the morning. There's one thing I want to tell you. The governor's seat is won by the simple majority. It is not about the 50+1. The person who gets, even if it's by one vote, that is the person who becomes the governor of a region or of a county. So they are trying to play a game of numbers. Babu Wino is strong with the Luo votes. If the Luo votes are taken to Kidero, then there's a likelihood that Babu Wino does not have the chances. That's number one. Because what does it mean if Babu Wino wins the Nairobi gubernatorial race? He becomes the official kingpin of the Luo region. Raila Amolo Odinga becomes weakened. So they cannot allow Babu Wino to win that race. That's it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we speak today, Luhya checked. Luo checked. Now, who is remaining? The Kamba region, the Kikuyu nation, and the Kisis, who form a huge number in the Nairobi seat. Ladies and gentlemen, what is the next move, or what are the next moves by William Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga to get that seat? That is what I want to highlight here on this particular video. But before I take you through, after the long history about the Nairobi gubernatorial seat, ladies and gentlemen, take a second or two to subscribe, like, and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. That much wasting of time, allow me to dive into this particular video here today. What are the next moves? Number one, they'll divide the Kikuyu votes. After Gachagua has identified their gubernatorial seat aspirant, they will identify one of the most strongest, not just in terms of finance, but also track record, and sponsor him for the gubernatorial seat in Nairobi. Very likely. And then this person will divide the votes with those ones that are going to Gachagua's side. That's the first move they will make. Once they divide the Kikuyu votes, Babu Wino goes with some. Then we also get now Gachagua's person has some. Then now Sakaja will be left with the Luhya block solid. And plus Raila Amolo Odinga support, William Ruto support, and money entry, Sakaja becomes the governor. Apart from that, they're also planning to tame the Kamba region by also sponsoring a candidate from that side. In the sense that they're also going probably even to front a Kamba candidate to seriously contend for that seat, so that they can weaken the numbers that Gachagua is going to depend on by taking the Kamba votes. That will be able to kill the spirit in Nairobi, because if you give the Kamba people a running mate or maybe a deputy governor position, then the same Kamba people have the governor seat position race. What is going to happen? They're going to consider the governor person. So immensely, they're going to divide that Kamba region votes. Another thing I want to tell you is this. They're also going to focus on the Gusii votes. Someone was telling me the Gusii votes are about almost 400,000 in Nairobi itself. So therefore, it's a high number that people have to target as well. We have seen Geoffrey Musira trying, but he cannot make it. That will purely depend on the Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i. Where he's going to direct people to go to, that's where they're going to vote. I'm strongly having a feeling that Matiang'i is more of in charge of the Gusii of Nairobi than any other part of this country. There's no division there. The people are focused beyond Dr. Okengo Fred Matiang'i. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what is your take, but as far as the Nairobi gubernatorial seat is concerned, those are the moves I expect Raila Amolo Odinga and of course William Ruto to make to be able to counter Rigathi Gachagua's lethal move. See you next time for more videos. My name is Abel Mokwa.